Hi everyone, it's Emma. Today I'm doing kind of a new video. I decided that I want to do an overview of my seasonal reading. I am very much a mood reader, and with the seasons I find what I tend to read is very different. In the spring, you'll probably see me reading more contemporary and more cutesy romance kind of stuff as opposed to fantasy, emotional stuff. So I thought I would try this out and kind of combine recent reads, currently reading, and seasonal TBR videos that I usually make into one video, an overview of my spring reading as I anticipate it to be. I'm thinking that what I'll do is that at the end of the season, I'll also make an overview so that I can kind of compare so that you and myself can get an idea of my spring reading as a whole. So I'm going to start with the books that I have already read. I have 3 that I'm going to highlight. The first one I've talked about a lot, so I'm not going to mention much. It is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. I did a spoiler-free review for this, so if you want to know more, go check it out. It is a beautiful spring read, very emotional, very beautifully written. Again, if you want to know more about that, go check out my review because I have talked about it in quite a few videos recently. The next book was one of my most anticipated releases of 2018, and it is Restore Me by Tahira Mafi. This is the 4th book in the Shatter Me series, which was a trilogy and is now becoming a 6-book long series. This just came out a couple weeks ago and I read it right away. I think I read it in 3 days and I loved it. I honestly had really low expectations for this book. I liked the original series so much, but it's been so long since I read the original series that I think I just went into this new book with not a lot of expectations other than that it would be fun to see the characters again, and I loved it. It blew me away. I don't want to hype it up too much because, again, I went into it with low expectations, but I really did love it. I keep going back and forth as to whether I'm going to make a review for this one or not. I did take notes. Comment down below if you really want me to do a review. This book just got me so excited to see what Tahira is going to do with the rest of the books. It really expanded this world. It is a dystopian, and you don't know a ton about how the government really works nowadays, but in this book we have 2 points of views. We get Juliet and Warner, and that broke open the whole world. Everything that was vague in the original series is not vague anymore because you're reading from Warner's point of view, and Warner knows so much about the world. That was really the reason that I loved it and the reason that it surprised me so much, because you met new characters, you just learned so much about the world. It really expanded what I knew, or what I thought I knew, about this series, and that was so much fun to read. The next book I'm going to talk about is a manga, and I have mentioned it a decent amount, but I feel like it really is my spring manga. It's Horomia. This is volume 8, which I finished up this morning. I've been loving this manga and just flying through it. It is so cute. It's so fangirly. Like, I've been texting Ashley from Ashley Outpaged just nonstop while reading this. She hasn't read this volume and I didn't know what to do with all of my feelings because I couldn't just rant them out on her. This series has 10 volumes so far. The 10th one actually just came out not that long ago. I read the first 8 volumes all in the month of March, I want to say. That might not be right. Maybe I started it in February. Whatever the case, I binged it very quickly. It's super addicting. It's very cute. This girl who's really popular, she puts on makeup and goes to school. She's real popular with boys at school. And then this boy who is kind of a loner type, he like wears his hair down over his face and hides behind his glasses. They meet outside of school and they're the complete opposite of what they're like in school. And they kind of start this friendship / relationship because they are the only ones who know this like other side to each other. This is one that I've read. It's also one that I will be continuing to read in the springtime. You have plans tonight? Now for the books that I'm currently reading. The first book is Obsidium by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This is the 3rd and final book in the Illuminae trilogy, which is one of my all-time fave trilogies, but this one's actually taking me a lot longer to read than I thought it was going to. I'm about 300 20 pages in or so, and it's like 600 pages long. But I've been flipping back and forth between the audiobook and the physical book, but I feel like that's part of the reason that it's taking me longer, because sometimes I will listen through the audiobook while I'm like walking around New York or on the subway, and I don't feel like it really sinks in. And because this is the finale to one of my favorite trilogies, I'll end up going back and rereading what I listened to. So I've ended up just kind of listening to the audiobook while I'm looking at the physical book, and I actually am really enjoying that. If you don't know, the audiobooks are really incredible and unique. They're full cast and they're almost acted out. The way these books are written is super unique. It's all through chat forms and stuff. So the way that it is narrated is also super unique when you listen to the audiobook. I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely dramatic, which fits these books perfectly. As far as plot and stuff, I can't say a lot since this is the final book in a trilogy, but I am really enjoying it. It's been very emotional so far, as was expected. It's really nice to see all our characters together. Hopefully they don't all die, but you know. And the other book that I'm currently in the middle of is over there, so give me a second, I'll be right back. Shoop. The other book that I'm reading is Wonderstruck by Brian Selznick. I had never read a Brian Selznick book before, but Jesse recommended this one to me after he read it recently. He said that I would love it, and also that there was deaf representation in here, which is something that's kind of important to me when I'm reading books. So I decided to pick this one up, and I'm loving it so much. I'm loving it so much. I am 380 pages in, but to be honest, I think I might finish this one today. We'll see. Maybe I'll leave it off till tomorrow because I'm not sure I'm ready to be done. If you've never seen the inside of a Brian Selznick book, it is half told through prose, but a decent part of the book is told completely through drawings, and his drawings are really beautiful and emotional. That, of course, makes it a really quick read because there's no reading to be done on these pages, but that also makes it such a beautiful read. It's following the story of a girl and a boy. Their stories are kind of interwoven. The girl's, thus far in the book, has been completely through art, but the boy's story, his goes back and forth between art and prose. So sometimes you are reading the boy's story in prose and the girl's story in pictures right next to each other. And that makes it just really beautiful. So yes, I'm enjoying it a lot. Now for some of the books that I'm hoping to get to in the springtime. I'm gonna try and go through these quickly so I can mention a couple of them. The first one is Emily Climbs by L.M. Montgomery. This is the second book in the Emily of New Moon trilogy. I did a review for the first book if you want to hear more of why I love this series thus far. This series follows Emily Starr, who is a writer. She is a poet, but in the first book she was pretty young, like elementary school age, and this book follows her as she gets more to high school age. So she's growing up, she's starting to think about writing as a career, she is facing the resistance of her aunt who doesn't think writing is a practical career, and she's dealing with having friends who grow up and maybe become love interests. And I'm just so excited to read this one, to get more of the beautiful writing style and the beautiful, insightful life stuff that comes with these books. It's definitely the perfect springtime read, as you can tell from the beautiful covers. The next book is Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. This is an advanced reader copy, but the book comes out next Tuesday, so I think it's March 27th. This has been an anticipated release for me, and it's funny because I'm not even sure why. I just somehow latched onto this cover and latched onto what I've heard people say about it, that it was a unique contemporary, that it was really surprising, and it made me excited to read it. So I'm going to check it out. I'm going to read it and see what happens. It's basically about this girl, Penny, and this boy, Sam, who have a very not cute meet cute, exchange phone numbers, and they start communicating through text messages. They start having this relationship that I think is completely digital. I don't think they actually meet up in real life again, but they have this connection and they kind of share their dreams and their hopes with each other through texting. I was hoping to read it before it comes out, but I probably will not end up getting to it. It's just so pretty and cool, and the guy has tats and a cool haircut, and yeah. The next book that I'm planning to read is They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. I put this one on this list hesitantly because I feel like I've mentioned this book in a TBR type video like 3 times before. and I still haven't read it. It was part of my try a chapter tag, and I loved the first chapter, but I feel like this spring may be the time. It is the time. It is, okay? It is the Booksplosion book of the month for March, so that would be a good excuse to read it. So I do really feel like I'm going to enjoy this one, and I would love to give Adam Silvera's books a chance. The premise of this book is that you get notified the day before you're going to die, and there's some kind of app that can like hook people up who are both dying on the same day so that you don't need to spend your last day alone. Of course, by the title, I know it's going to be heartbreaking and sad, but I do love those books, so that should be a reason that I'm going to enjoy it. Next, I have a poetry book, and it is A Psalm for Us by Raina Biddy. Raina Biddy wrote another poetry collection called I Love My Love, and I read that one, and I wasn't crazy about it, but I liked it enough to give this book another chance. Technically, I have started this book. I read the first couple pages, but I didn't get into it enough to consider it a current read. From what I've read, I just have a feeling that I'm going to really enjoy this one. On the back, it says, "The girl who wishes upon stars each night, praying for better days." And I liked how she talked about it in the introduction, so we shall see, but I have a good feeling about this one. And then I have 2 manga, although I have other manga that I'm sure I will want to read in the spring, but these 2 kind of seem like my spring reads, other than Horomia. So the first one is Sweetness and Lightning. I opened up the packaging for this one because I thought I was going to start it yesterday, and then I didn't start it. So I regret opening the packaging. This one was recommended to me by one of you guys. It was recommended to me by Ricky, and it's about this dad who learns to cook because his wife has recently passed away, and he wants to be able to cook for his young daughter. It just seems perfectly adorable and spring-like, and I'm excited to give it a chance. Since I did open it, I have flipped through the art style, and it looks really nice and interesting, so. And then I will be continuing a manga series. It is Yotsuba. This is volume 2. I put this manga off because it was perfect for springtime. It is just a slice of life little story about this girl who moves with her dad and she becomes friends with her neighbors. It's about her going out and playing each day and having interactions with people. She's got this big personality that makes it very enjoyable and just funny and amusing and totally spring-like. All the covers have this very spring vibe. I have one more book, but this one is kind of an honorable mention because I don't have it with me. It is Snow Falling. Recently, I've become obsessed with the TV show Jane the Virgin. This is basically the book that they published from inside that TV show. So the main character in that TV show is a writer, and they published the actual book of the book that the main character wrote. So I'm planning to read this one as soon as I finish season 3 of the show. I ordered it the other day, but I sent it back home instead of to New York where I am right now, and it arrived and my mom opened it and was like, "What is this?" Because the cover is just so romance novel, but it is supposed to be a romance novel. So that is it for my kind of spring overview. Please let me know down in the comments either some things that you're currently reading right now, some things that you loved recently, or something that you're looking forward to getting to. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me and always watching my videos. I hope you have a lovely day or night or afternoon wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video.